Welcome to the Indegene Digital Summit 2020, this time virtually. And on behalf of Indegene, I'd like to welcome all of you from around the world.
We identified who the consumer is, got in touch with them, found their asked them for their address, and sent them 1 year worth of supply. And then that person talked about it with the brand, and then suddenly it became wildfire news all over the internet in the country, and the brand really boomed. So I think having a simple social listening habit, 5 minutes a day or 30 minutes a week with your agency, is sufficient to find out both good and bad news about yourself, your competition, and your category.
We've grown to accept video conferencing as a really effective networking tool. We would have traveled a huge amount across the world. So we're actually saving a lot of money, and we're saving a lot of time and making very effective use of our time.
While the goal of being X to 10X, I think has a meaning that you need to move and move fast. But I think to also look at that as not to make big mistakes, which could hurt organizations in the long term, I think is equally important.
So I think the consistent theme here is having a well-known process that's in place that everyone understands, so that as you go through your organization and ask individual employees to define what customer experience is, you get a common definition so that the process for change is the same.
It really needs to start truly from the top with a real belief that we can impact and change the world if we start from a customer-centric standpoint.
I think digital channels are no longer a complement to face-to-face interaction, but has become the core channels of interactions.
Now it's also more digital channel, coordinate amongst the many different reps potentially who are seeing a position along with digital channels can help coordinate and bring that.
It really belongs to so many functions, to so many people across the company, but first and foremost, it has to support the corporate strategy. It has to be an enabler to that.
And then there's also the balance of, knowing that you want to federate innovation across the organization, but not creating fragmentation at the same time. So how do you align everybody to the right mission and right priorities?
It's my privilege to hand it over to Scott. Scott, over to you.
And I think the British took a very good approach to looking at the use of practical clinical trials, where they tried to skinny down the data they were collecting to the most pertinent variables, and got answers quicker than we did about important therapeutics, including the use of steroids. And I think that this experience is going to change how we look at clinical trials more generally, certainly in the setting of a public health crisis, but maybe even outside the setting of a public health crisis.